It's 5:45 p.m., which means it's time for BCTV's Nightly News Roundup. I'm Roland Boyden, and this is 5:45 Live. Tonight, a couple great things, including a live webcast. We'll go live to the high school where the NRC is holding their annual assessment hearing of Vermont Yankee. More dancers come to town. We'll get a little bit of last year's footage, and Bernie Sanders has just put up a few minutes ago a video called My Profound Disgust. So we'll get all that and more. The gimmick, of course, is that we do it in 15 minutes, something I think shouldn't be underappreciated in this day and age, that even if you've got a modern-day attention span, as I like to think of it, you still get time to stick with us and then head on over to the 6 o'clock news. All that and more. Stick around. Welcome back to this May 23rd, 2012 edition of 5:45 Live. That's footage of the Morris dancers who came to town. That's almost 1 year ago to the day. Footage shot by our 5:45 Live content specialist and BCTV prolific producer Maria Dominguez. Those Morris dancers will be on Elliott Street this Saturday. They'll close down the street. That starts at 5 p.m. I've been trying to piece my segues together. The NRC, Nuclear Regulatory Commission, as some call them, have come to town. Of course, they're the folks in charge of keeping an eye on safety at Vermont Yankee. They are holding a public hearing tonight up at the multipurpose room at BUHS. That starts at 7 p.m., but as we speak, there's an open house part of it where folks can go talk to NRC members themselves. We're going to go live in just a second to the high school via skypecast to Chad Simmons of Safe Green, who's been putting together the technology on that end. But first, I want to take a flashback, a little 5:45 Live rewind in time to last year, June 22nd of 2011, when the last annual safety assessment hearing from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission was put on. Here's a clip of what they had to say.
In 2010, Entergy operated Vermont Yankee safely and met all safety cornerstone objectives. This was determined based on independent inspection conducted by 2 resident inspectors, along with numerous region-based specialist inspectors and objective performance indicators.
I'm going to put the mics back on for this one as we try and beam up to the high school for our live Skypecast. Of course, it's always fingers crossed when you're talking about the duct tape and chewing gum cell phone Skype remote broadcast satellite van. Let's see if we can get Chad on the line here. Chad, how goes it up there?
Hi there.
Let's put him in
on
the big screen.
All right, here we go. It's all right. All right, so we're going to see how this works. My name is Chad Simmons. We're here live at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission open house and public hearing we've got tonight. We're very fortunate enough to have Diane Sprenchi, thank you very much, spokesperson for the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. And while we've got her here, we're just going to ask a couple of questions. So the first question I have is that many people in this community have voiced their frustration with the NRC over the last few years, and their ability to objectively regulate the industry. And one example often cited here in this community is the NRC granting Entergy Vermont Yankee a 20-year license extension, while the Fukushima reaction disaster was taking place. And this was largely seen by many as a move to meet Entergy's timetable rather than to look at the safety of this particular reactor. Can you comment on those concerns by members of this community?
Sure, and I understand that the community has concerns. The NRC made a decision to renew the license for an additional 20 years for Vermont Yankee after an extensive review. We conducted a review to assure that they had programs and processes in place to manage the effects of aging for the period of extended operation. And also we conducted prepared an environmental impact statement. and also there was a hearing on contention. So it was a very thorough review where we heard the issues that had been presented to the Atomic Safety and Licensing Board, as well as the aging management programs and the environmental review. The commission actually announced that that they voted in favor of renewing the license the day before the Fukushima accident. And what we were aware of, obviously when we issued the license, what the commission determined was that it was appropriate to issue the license because any changes that we put into place from the lessons that we learned from the accident would apply to all plants, whether they were in their first 40-year license or they were in a period of extended operation. So we're even in the period where we're considering the license. So those apply to everyone. So the commission decided that it was safe for plants to continue to operate, and it was safe for us to continue, the staff to continue with licensing.
Okay, so that actually brings me to my follow-up question with that, is that Japan has closed all of its nuclear reactors since the disaster. In fact, earlier this month, all of the reactors. And a large part of that was because of the safety and reliability concerns raised from the absolute disaster. Why has the NRC, I mean, I know you realize, you just gave a list of reasons why before Fukushima, the NRC felt this reactor was safe and reliable. But why weren't the recommendations given from the NRC? Why weren't those taken into account? And why wasn't the same precautions that Japan made taken into account in closing all of the reactors? Especially since some of those same reactors were of the same design and made.
You know, honestly, I'm not familiar with the reasons why other countries have decided to either shut down or continue to operate reactors.
But isn't this a learning experience?
And what we did after the accident in Japan was form a task force to look at what lessons we could learn from that and determine what, if any, changes we needed to make for the reactors in this country. Earlier this year, we issued orders requiring changes, and we required also we also requested information that needs to be submitted back to us under oath and affirmation, so that we can continue, so that there are some enhancements that will be made, and also there is additional information that will be presented to us where we can take a look at it and determine where do we go from here. There's also 2 other levels of recommendations that the Commission is deciding how to implement this. And those will apply to all the operating reactors. Any plant that gets licensed with a new license in the meantime, several have been licensed this year. Mm-hmm. Those orders will apply to all of those reactors, regardless of the licensing status at the time. So the Commission determined that it was safe for the plants to continue to operate, and then determined that we wanted these enhancements to be made, and issued orders to all the plants. Plants that were on their first 40-year license or the plants that were in the period of extended operation.
So my final question is, people have been coming to these hearings for 6 years now here in Vermont, and many of the people have been coming from Massachusetts and New Hampshire because it affects their lives as well. A lot of these concerns have been voiced repeatedly, and while the NRC says that it did a thorough and exhaustive review of Vermont Yankee, many of these same concerns still exist. And many of the people in this community feel like those concerns haven't been addressed, and I think many of them haven't been addressed in respect to what we've learned since Fukushima. And so what do you tell the people of this community that have these concerns, and wouldn't it be a more precautionary approach to take to close these reactors, do an analysis, and see if they're able to stay open, then open them back up, as opposed to the approach that the NRC is taking now?
Well, by determining that it was safe for the plants to continue to operate, that was something that we did shortly after Fukushima. It was something that the task force looked at, and so we have done that. And the task force report is a bound report. It's got a lot of information in it. We conduct 6,000 hours of inspection, or conducted about 6,000 hours of inspection activities at Vermont Yankee last year. our findings. Those inspection reports are all online. We make a big effort to be very open and transparent. That's one of the reasons why we're here this evening, so that we can talk to people, hear their concerns, and provide them with information.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your time, and thank you for providing this interview.
You're welcome.
Back to you, Roland. Thanks for taking the time, and back to 545.
Chad Simmons of the Safe and Green campaign, who's been working tirelessly to get that Skypecast going. He had to, I think, borrow an iPhone, track down the Wi-Fi password, a BUHS, install Skype apps, the whole shebang to get us this great content. Really a terrific opportunity to talk with folks from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. You could do that yourself as well. It's going all the way up until 7 at the BUHS multi-purpose room, which is just one door down from the auditorium. If you think about where you go to vote, maybe to town meeting, maybe you watched your daughter's basketball game at the BUHS gym by exit 1. Just one door down, you'll find that room. That goes all the way up until 7. You can chat up folks from the NRC, and then at 7, they open up a public hearing. You know, you'll get them in front of the microphones and kind of the panel setting, all like that. BCTV will be there with our content specialist, Catherine Turnus, to tape the public hearing in its entirety. That'll show back on BCTV Channel 8, and we might even throw it on BCTV Channel 10 to get some playtime in there. That'll start next week. All right, before I go for the evening, let you go, I just want to mention a story, since I did put it in our coming up little teaser clip there, and that's Bernie Sanders. He's got to be in his bonnet again, as is so often the case. This time, the subject, super PACs, groups of individuals who pool their money together, and we're talking big money, like hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, to, some say, influence elections by buying radio and TV ads. Here's his comment posted just minutes ago from the Senate floor. His A-Game media team getting this stuff up on YouTube right away. Senator Sanders is the YouTube channel if you want to check it out. Here's Bernie.
You better watch out. If you're going to vote for a bill that protects consumers, you better watch out, because, as this banker just said, there may be $500,000 or $1 million going to your opponent, going into television and radio ads.
All right, that's all I got for today. But remember, we'll be back Friday at this here Channel 8 station. 5:45 p.m. is the time in question. We'll gear up for the weekend, get all the latest headlines and more. All right, for BCTV and 545 Live, I'm Roland Boyden. Thanks to everybody that makes 545 Live tick the way it does, including Operations Manager Vlasta Popelka, who's been chatting me up on Gmail chat this whole time to let me know how the sound is, picture looks, my hair. Those comments are hard to handle sometimes. She's the glue that holds this whole show together. Thanks to content specialists Paige Martin and Maria Dominguez, who provided all that great Morris dancer footage, and of course to Chad Simmons, who worked so hard to get that footage from the high school. All right, that's all I got. Thanks for checking in. Night, everybody.